Good day, everyone. In our last section, we stopped at CSS fundamentals, of which we talked about introduction to CSS. We touched on CSS properties, CSS syntax and selectors, and we also touched the type of CSS we have. So in this new section, our section 4, we will be talking about CSS layouts. So let me bring in my CSS layouts. So if we are talking about CSS layouts are used to control the visual structure and arrangement of elements on web page. CSS layouts are used to control the visual structure and arrangement of elements on a web page. What this simply means is that CSS layouts, they are elements that are used to control the visual and structure and arrangement of elements on web page. The way elements are being arranged or the way they are positioned on the web page is the work of CSS layouts. Then we have different techniques of CSS layouts. We have the block and inline layouts, we have the flexbox layouts, we have the positioning and grid layouts, float layouts. We have a lot of layouts and we'll be touching them one after the other. But the first one we'll be starting with is the box model. The box model is a fundamental concept in CSS that describes the structure of an HTML element as a rectangular box. The box model consists of 4 main components. We have the content area, we have the padding, border, and margin. Okay, let's create a box. I'll be creating my box using div. Then I want to use external CSS. Then I'll be giving it a class name of box. And let me read it out once again. The box model is a fundamental concept in CSS that describes the structure of an HTML element as a rectangular box. The box model consists of 4 main components. We have the content area, which is the inner part of the box. We have the padding, is the space between the content in the box and the border. We have the border, this is the visible outline of the box. We have the margin, this is the space between the box and other elements around the box. So let's start. Let's put the content within the box. Let's use our H1. Hello world. Okay, let me not use hello world. Let's use box model. We are using box model. Then let's go live. Okay, we're having our box model. Now let's create our CSS file. I'll give it box.css. We're having our box.css. Then let's link it. I want to link it. Then I will change this to ./box.css. That's how to link our CSS once again, external CSS, and within our head tag, we link it within our head tag. Now, I'll be showing us what they mean by margin, padding, and border. The first one we'll be starting with is border. So let's call our class attributes, which is box. Let's check the spelling we give to it. Small letter, then box. The first thing I want to give to it is I want to give it border. Then I will call my border property on CSS border. Then okay, let me give it border width. Border width is just like giving width. How big do you want the border, or how bold do you want the border to be? Let's say I will give it 10px. I'll give it border style. We have a lot of property on borders depending on the one you want to use. I'll give it border style, and I'll give it what I suggested for me. I'll give it solid. Then I want to give my border color so that it will be visible. Border color. Then I'll give it what? Let's give it black, or let's give it blue. Then let's refresh. Automatically we're having our what? We're having our box. Then let's reduce the size of our box. No, let's leave it like that. Continue. This is how to get our border. Then we also have another one, border radius. Border radius will help us shaping the sides of our border. Then let's give it 10px, and let's see the changes we'll be having. Can you see? Do you notice this side? Let me increase it. It has shaping the sides of our what? Of our border. Then let's continue. We have what again? We have margin. I can say margin. We have margin top. We have margin bottom. We have margin right, and we have margin left. But let's start with margin top. Let's give it 20px. Margin top of 20px. And what is the work of this margin? Margin is the space we are having outside the box. The space we are having between the box, outside the box, or outside the box, and every other element coming after it. Yes, I'll be showing us some example by what I mean with every other element coming after it. Then I've given this margin top of 20px. Let's continue. Then I want to give it margin bottom. Okay, before margin bottom, let's do margin right. Margin right of 20px. Okay, not taking effect. But at the being, we're having a box at the right hand side, at the left hand side, to be taking effect. Just like that shifted our box downward. That's the work of margin top. Can you see? Let me put it back. Then I refresh. That shifted our box downward. Let me increase the margin to 50. And let's refresh. That's moved it downward to 50px. That's what margin top is doing. Moving on, let's create margin bottom. Margin bottom of 50px. Margin bottom will be taking effect like this. The only way margin bottom will be taking effect is the element coming under this box. It won't be joining together. Okay, let's create an example. But before that, let me cancel all this. Let me create an example again. Okay, I will come after this place, create another div. I will give it box 2, a class name of box 2. Then I'll come to my CSS. My CSS dot box 2. Then I'll take the styling for the borders. I will take it also, Ctrl C. I will paste it in. Then let's refresh. Then let's type something within it. Let's say each one also outer box. Okay. So now, can you see the two boxes are joining together? But we don't want them to join together. How do we do it? I can do it in two ways. I can give this box 2 margin top of 20px, and automatically it will come downwards. This other box, outer box, will come downward. Will come downward. But if I don't want to do it like that, I can also do it in this way by giving the first box margin bottom, and it will be shifted. It also shifts downward. What margin bottom is doing is Every other element coming under me, I don't want them to meet me. Just do what? Just give them space between them and me. That's what margin bottom is doing. And we also have margin left. Margin left of 20px. Let's see. Can you see? Margin left automatically has moved our box to the right a little bit. Margin right is also working the same way margin bottom is working. So there are two different things entirely. Now I'll be moving to padding. Padding. And like I have here, I said what? Padding is the space between the content area and the border. The space we are having between the content area and the border. Then let's do what? Let me comment out on this. Border properties. We have what? Margin properties. Now we want to introduce what? Padding properties. Our padding properties, we only do what? Our padding properties is doing what? Giving space between the content in the box and what? And the border. Then I will come to this place. I will do padding top of 50px. Then I will refresh and then see what we're having. Can you see it? It has moved our content a little bit far away from the top. Then let's do padding right. Padding right of 50px also. 50px. Okay. Padding right is taking effect in this manner. Then let's do padding bottom. Padding bottom of 50px. Can you see? It has already moved our content far away from the bottom. Our content now is at the center, still maintaining its initial position, but our box is what? Our box is expanding. Then let's do what again? Let's do padding what? Padding left of 50px. Can you see? Our content has moved away from the what? From the border a little bit to the what? To the right. That's what? Padding left. So these are just what? Our box model. And our box model consists of what? Consists of border, margin, and what? And padding. Border, margin, and what? And padding. With this, sharply, I will quickly explain how we can use it in getting. Okay, before that, I will explain display properties. Then after explaining display properties, we will create a very short project on navigation bar. So I'll be explaining display property. Display properties. Then I think I should just make use of this box model. I just have to give it width and give it height. So let's give this width and height. Let's give it width of 50px or 200px rather, and height of 300px. Okay, let's have it this way. Okay, our display property is used to define the type of box used to display an element, and we have some common display properties. We have the block level elements. Like I've explained, I said when we get to CSS, we know how to manipulate our block elements and inline elements. Okay, we have flexbox elements. Under our flexbox elements, we'll be having display flex, we'll be having display inline, we'll be having inline-block, and so on. We also have the grid elements. So we'll be starting with what? Display flex. We'll be starting with what? Flexbox elements. And under flexbox elements, we have different types of elements in our display properties. Okay, flexbox is a type of layout. We are starting with flexbox. Then flexbox is a layout model in CSS that allows us to create flexible and responsive layouts. Then how do we go with this? I will go to my layout.html. Then within this, I will create a div and I will give it a class name of parent. Then I will move these two div I created. I will move them into it as child. As what? As child. Now, I want to make use of some display properties. So I'll go to my CSS. I want to style the parent. So the parent should come first. I'll do what? Class attributes. Don't forget, if you want to access the class attributes, the access it with what? With dot. That will be dot parent. We'll have it dot parent. Then I'll give it width of 100%. Height of what? 100 v. No, let's give it height of 600 px. Okay, let's give it a background color. The background color of orange red. Orange red. What else? Let's give it border. And I'll be explaining. Okay, let me explain the short form yet. Border radius to shaping the size of our border. Let's give it 10px. We'll have our border style. Rather border width first. Let's give it 10px. Border style. Let's give it dotted. Then we'll have border color. Let's give it aqua. Then let's refresh. Can you see? We're having our what? We're having our border, the parent. To style the parent. Now we want to make use of some flexbox elements. As you can see, these two elements are coming together. Now we want to make these two elements to share width of their parent. That's when it will come to a calculation called percentage. Percentage. So as you all know, like the normal way we calculate our normal percentage, even in our normal mathematics, the width of the parent is having what? 100%. It's taking what? 100% width. Automatically, the parent is having what? 100%. It's taking control of the width, which is 100%. Now, the parent now wants to share the width within the what? Within these children, which is box 1 and box 2. What is the first thing the parent is doing? The parent only needs to do what? Give access to the child to do what? To take out of what? Out of the width. Then I'll come to this place, width from the box. I'll do what? Width of 50%. And I also come to box 2. Box 2. Width of 50%. Then let me refresh. Can you see it? We're having them the same way. Okay. Let's cancel out this since we're not needing it anymore. We've explained them. Okay, they are sharing the same weight. Now we want them to share the height of the parent also. We just have to do what? We'll have to do 50%, 50% to make them equal. 50%. Then I will come to the other box, height of 50%. Then let's refresh. Automatically we're having equal width and equal height. Now we want to do something. We want this box to be beside this box, but they are not what? They are not inline elements, they are block elements. Div is a block element. I can simply do what? Come here and I'll do what? My box 2, display inline. I'll call my display property. and give it inline. Then let's refresh. Okay, let's give this also our first box, display inline. Okay, it's not working, so we won't be needing the inline, but we can do it in a very simple way. Now, the only way we can do it is by the parents, making them accommodating each other, just like how twins accommodate each other in the womb of their parents. Now we want these two boxes to accommodate each other within their parents. So the parents will now do what? All the property called display. And display has a lot of what? A lot of properties also. We have block, we have content, we have flex, we have flexbox. But we are starting with what? Flex. Flex. Then let's see, next we'll be having. Can you see? Automatically they are now beside each other. That's what display flex works for. And what if I don't want them to be on a row? I want them to be on a column. Then I will just do what? Change what? Change the direction. Then I'll do what? Flex direction, colon. They will be beside each other. So that was how display flex work. And what is the advantage or application of this? It helps us to create responsive websites. It is one of the advantages. It helps in responsiveness of websites. It helps in the what? In the responsiveness of what? Of websites. And this display flex has a lot of properties. The first one is we've talked about flex direction. Now let's change it to row. We've changed it to row. Then it also has its own properties, like giving space between the two divs. Then how do you do that? There's something we call justify content. Justify content works from left to the right of the browser. Then let's do justify content, space between. Let's see the space. Let's see what we'll be having. It is not working. Okay. Let's reduce the width. Let's reduce their width by 10%. Let's give them 40%. Then automatically we're having the space between them. Now let's do what? Like I said, justify content is working from where? From the left to the right of the browser. And it also has a lot of property again. Let's give another property. We have justify content space around. Then let's refresh. So it is creating space around the elements also, and between the two boxes. And we also have another one, space evenly. Then I will refresh. Space evenly is be giving equal space between the box and the sides. Between the box and the sides. So that's just what justify content is doing. And I said it is affecting the browser from the left to the right. Then we also have align items. Align items is affecting what? Is affecting the content from the top to the bottom. And let's give align items. Let's start with center. Automatically it has moved our box to the center of their parents. Then let's give this also justify content center. Can you see the box are joining together, but they are the center of the parent div. So justify content is working from the left to the right, while align items is working from the top to the bottom. Then anything you want to do to it, either to the center, to the right, to the top, to the end, to the start, you can change any property you want to change to it. So that's that about what? About display flex. That's that about display flex. Then we'll be talking about inline block elements and every other element in some advanced practical work in class. So now let's move to positioning. We'll be moving to positioning. Positioning in CSS. Positioning in CSS refers to the process of controlling the position of an element, where you want to place your element on a web page. That's what we call positioning. And we have 5 main positioning schemes. We have static positioning, we have relative, we have absolute, we have fixed, and we have sticky. Now we'll be starting with what? We'll be starting with static positioning. So position static, this is the default element, the default type of position where elements are positioned according to the normal document flow. They are positioned. This is like a default positioning for elements on a website. They only stay where you place them. Why what? Why creating the tags? Why creating the elements? Where you put them or where you create the elements, that's just where they will stay. So that's the default positioning of an element on the web page. So we have position relative. So element is positioned relative to its normal position and can be offset using top, right, bottom, and left properties. And what do they mean by this? Using position relative, its element is positioned relative to its normal position. It's just like words and opposites. And you can easily change their position by using what? By using top, left, bottom, and right properties. Anyhow you want to place them. Then let's start with this box. Let's do position. Position what? Relative. Position relative. Then I'll give it top of 30px. Then let's refresh. Let's see where we'll be having it. Can you see? But before then, let me cancel. Let me just comment out the justify content. Then let's refresh. Can you see? Top of 30px. Then let me increase the top to 100. Can you see? The position is changing relative to his what? To his initial what? Position. To his normal what? Position. Then let me try again. Let's give it right of 100px. Right 100px. Then I will refresh. Can you see? It is moving to the right. It is not moving, but it is joining together to the right. Then let's change this to left. Then let's refresh. Okay. Okay, can you see? Automatically it has moved to the what? To the right. Joining what? Joining the second box. So let's move to the next one. We have the absolute positioning. So how does this absolute positioning works? Absolute positioning is removed from its normal position flow and position relative to the nearest ancestor. So how does this work? Absolute. Let's give our what? Our parent the position relative. Then let's give this position absolute. Then let's see what we'll be having. Can you see? It is moving. Let's give this can you see? Without affecting the parent. It is moving itself. But if I didn't put this position absolute, it will be taking effect on the parent also. But it only works to the what? To his normal document flow and position relative to his nearest ancestor. Can you see it? We also have another one, fixed. Position fixed. Okay, this position fixed, I'll use a normal example. Is our navigation bar. I'll be using it on our navigation bar here. After if I'm done with this one, I'll be creating a simple navigation bar and I'll be using some positioning with it. Then there I'll be using fixed and sticky. So without wasting much of our time, let's create a navigation bar. Let's create a navigation bar for SOAIR. So, like I said, we have some semantic tags that defines what? That defines the structure of our web page. Then I'll be having my what? My navigation bar. And like I said before, if I'm creating a navigation bar, I always want my what? My logo to be a link whereby whenever I click on it, it should just navigate to home or anywhere I ask it to navigate to. Then I'll be creating an anchor tag. Then the anchor tag, I'll just put hashtag here. Since I don't have anything I want to put within it, then I'll put my words. Let's create so then I can create a div. So this div, okay, without even creating a div, let me use UL, another list, then my li, then my a, then I'll put hashtag there. Then within my a, I'll put what? Home, li, a. I'll put about, li, a. Contacts, then the next one, li, then a. I'll put what? Portfolio. Then I will refresh. I'm having this. Now I want to start my navigation bar. The first thing I'm doing is I will come to this place. Okay, let's make use of what's it called? Element selector first. I'll be making use of the 3 types of selector I explained in our previous section. Then I want to make use of element selector first. Element selector now. I want to give it a background color. I'll give it a background color of blue. Okay, let me give it the text on its color. I'll give them white. Okay, then let's refresh. We're having a background color of blue, but the text are not changing to white. Only the bullets are changing to white. And the reason they are not changing is because these are enclosed within UL, LI, and they are what? Our anchor tags. They are all anchor tags. We have to target them themselves before we can change them. Then it's very simple. Since I said once a change to just apply to all the old anchor tags we're having, then I'll just do what? Use them by element selector A. Then I'll do what? Color white. I want to target all the old anchor tags within our document, and automatically their color will be changing to white. Now I want to give each one of them a class name. Then I'll give this a class name of what? Of logo. Logo. This one, class name of what? Links. Class name of link. Then I will come to my CSS. Okay, my navigation bar. I want every other thing here to be beside each other. Then I'll do what? Display what? Display flex. I've explained. Then next to the effects, display flex as bring them beside each other. Then I want them to be at the center of the what? Of the navigation bar. But before then, let's give our navigation bar width. We can give it width of 100%. And I will be giving it height of what? 200 px. Then I will refresh. The height is too much. Then let's reduce the height to 100. Okay. Or it's too much. Let's do this to 80. Alright. Now we've done display flex. Then let's do display flex. Then let's do justify content. Space what? Space between. We don't want them to join together. Then let's refresh. Okay, space between is working, and we want them to be at the center of the web, at the center of the navigation bar. Then we do align items where center. Then let's refresh. Perfect. Now the next thing for us to do is we want to make our what? We don't want our navigation, our link, our logo to touch where? To touch the start of this bar, border, and this one also we don't want to touch the border. Then I can just come here and give padding. Then I'll be using shorthand for padding here. So I will give padding of 20 px. So this 20 px simply representing padding top, padding right, padding bottom, and padding left. Then I will refresh. Can you see? Automatically it has done what? It has expand. It has expand. Then I just have to do what? It has expand. Now the next thing for us to do is we want to target our what? We want to target these links here. We want them to be on a row. We don't want them to be in colon. So what do you have to do? We've given it a class name here. Then just access the class name attributes by what? By dot. Then I type a link. Then we do what? Display flex. And one of the reasons display flex for the navigation bar is not affecting this is because this li is not a child within the navigation bar. It is a child within UL. So the parent, the display flex is only affecting the child within the parent, which is what? Our logo and our link. That's the only two child we're having within our navigation bar, navigation tag rather. That's why it is not affecting this tag and these links that we're having, the home, about, contact, and portfolio. That's why it is not affecting them. But once we target our link now and we did what? Display flex, automatically it is affecting them. So they are joining together. Let's give space. Justify content. What? Space between. Let's refresh. Still not working. Okay. But let's do justify content center and align items center. Okay, they've aligned. Then don't forget, we don't need these dots, so just do what? List type none. We don't want it. Then all these lines we're having under it, we don't want it also. So there's something we call text decoration. It's also a property under CSS. Text decoration, we don't want it, none. Okay, now we want to target this A here. We want to target A. We can target this A by doing what's it called? Descendant selector. You know, I said we have other type of selector. So this one here now we want to do, it is called descendant selector. And what does descendant selector does? The descendant selector, you are just calling what? You are calling the parent and the child. So by calling, you want to style the child. Let's say for instance, we want to style our A tag that is all the A tag that is between this li. So automatically we are having UL as the parent. We can also style them by using their attributes, but we are not going to that aspect now. We want to do descendant selector. Then we're having the UL as the parent, the li as the descendant, and the A as the last descendant we want to style. Then how do we get that? I can just do since our UL is dot link, then I will just do what? Dot link li. Can you see it? Then after my dot link, I did space li, then another space again A. Then I will call my tag. Then I want to give space between them. I can just do margin left 10px. Let's see. Automatically they are having space between each other. Then if that one is too small, let's increase 20px. Can you see? Then we don't want this line between them. I can just do text decoration none. So since we're still having it within our logo, we can just come here, our anchor tag, and do text decoration none. Automatically we are not seeing those lines again. Then once we have our logo here, which is SOAIR, our navigation tags, and every other our navigation tags. So now these are just what I want to explain. Automatically I will now move to what's it called? Positioning of sticky and what's it called? Positioning of fist. If you notice some websites that usually whenever you scroll, okay, let me put our content on layout. Then let's do section. Then let's call our H1. So repeat tag lower. Then let's copy this. Control C. Control V. Control V. Control V. Control V. Let's copy as much as you can copy. V. And let's refresh. Let's see if we can. Okay, can you see? We're not seeing our navigation bar anymore. but we want to make it fixed at the top. Then let's try something. Our navigation bar, let's call position. We have position fields. And what does position fields do? It feels the element is removed from this normal document and flow position relative to the viewpoint. Remaining fields, even when the page is scrolled, then fixed. And it also have properties like, comes with properties like, okay, let's try this first. Can you see? It's even fixed at the top. Then we are seeing some white space at the top, even while scrolling. You don't want to see those white spaces again. We just do what? Stop 0. Top 0. Then whenever you scroll, you won't be seeing the top again anymore. But we are not seeing those first pay tags, those first paragraph tags. We are not seeing them. Automatically they've gone under the navigation bar. So that will now introduce us to what? Sticky. Positioning sticky. We will now see the difference between the two. Now let's refresh. Automatically, this one has pushed every other element under it. Then whenever you scroll, it remains sticky at the top. Can you see? It remains sticky at the top. And it's not as if these elements are coming under this one, unlike our fixed position, that these elements are under the navigation bar. No. But for our position sticky, every element is starting under the navigation bar, just like what we are seeing here. So whenever you scroll, it will be going under the navigation bar. So that will be all for our CSS layout. So in our next class, we'll be doing some more practical work and we'll be seeing some new properties and CSS properties. So this will be the end of our class for the section 4. See you in the next video. Thank you.